ones, then the tens. To this heaven slice of an angel. Rap this skin, roll dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her vibe. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. Often mirrors appear, clear, ready from ear to ear. Craving and rating and rain, rekindle the flame. Close as she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know our purpose. In paradise, in paradise. We know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive.
Boom, boom, boom. Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Monday edition of the Unpopular Hour. I know a lot of you guys are probably at the lake, so hopefully those of you who aren't are listening to the show, or at least you can come in. And of course, you can go and check us out on different ways. If you can't watch it right now, you can also, go to the MC Sports Network at www.mcsportsnetwork.com. Of course, or you can search YouTube, The Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark. And of course, tonight we will be doing the Thunder playing tonight, of course, and we will be doing a show tonight after the Storm, because the Thunder play at 8 o'clock tonight, so we will be doing a show about that tonight, with the After the Storm. So we'll be doing that show, games at 8 o'clock, but of course we'll talk about all that. But anyway, if you're just listening and you want to check it out, you can look at us at any of those forms of way of getting stuff done. So, but anyway, great weekend, crazy in the NBA with all the trades and signings, and we're going to go over a lot of that. Thunder have made quite a few moves and what they've done, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Thunder game tonight. We're going to talk about the new Thunder roster, who all they're keeping, who all they're not, kind of what we had thought that the Thunder were going to, who they were going to play and who they weren't, and we had a couple surprises in there that normally you don't really see, but interested, we'll get into all that in a minute. But by the way, the soccer team, the USA men's, won again another 6-0 shellacking of a team in the Gold Cup. They played this Sunday at 6:30 on FS1 at TQL Soccer Stadium there in Cincinnati. We do not know who their opponent is based on who's going to win. I believe it's today. Whoever wins that then will determine, or losers will determine who we will play this coming Sunday at 6:30. So, but anyway, the USA smashed Trinidad Tobago 6-0. I don't really have a lot to talk about it. It's just like when it's like NBA games. There's a blowout. I mean, what do you really have to say? I mean, is there a lot to really talk about? I mean, we dominated defensively, dominated offensively, did a better job of passing the ball than we did the game before, or a couple games when we played Jamaica. So we cleaned up a lot of things, but, I mean, until we get in, these next couple games, it should be a little bit more interesting, and then I will get in full detail about it. But I am wearing my USA jersey courtesy of my guy, Jose Fierro. I appreciate that, bro. And but anyway, let's get into the. That's going to sound terrible the way I was going to say that. I'm not going to say it, but let's get into the NBA news, because I was going to say it completely different, and that probably would not have been the best way. The best way to say it. So, but I'm gonna be nice about it, because my boy Jose, I don't want to beat him up too bad. But anyway, in NBA news, of course, the NBA, let's call it pre-summer season. Summer League starts tonight with in the California Classic. It's the Heat, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Warriors, and the Kings. And so we're going to be interested to see tonight if the Spurs will play, who they're going to play this Summer League roster. They're going to play everybody tonight. I know that when you looked at, they announced their Summer League roster for the California Classic. And when I looked on it, of course, Victor Wembanyama was not on there, which I was kind of disappointed. I thought we were going to get a chance to see him but Wembanyama is not on the roster, so maybe they're just kind of waiting. Excuse me for that. I think they're kind of waiting to see, probably holding him back for the actual summer league that starts July 7th. But he will not be playing, which I'm kind of disappointed in that because I really wanted to get a good look at him in this first game, and that's when we thought everybody was going to see him. But of course, he hasn't been around long enough, so I think they're probably going to give him a few more days uh, rest to the 7th next week, or at the end of this week, I guess it is, so they can really get a good feel for who's going to play with him. So we shall see what's going to happen in that. But anyway, the Thunder do play tonight, and so I'm excited about that, about who they play, and going to see who our opponents will be. Excuse me, we know who our opponent's going to be. Here is the Summer League schedule right now. Tonight, we play the Utah Jazz at 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 o'clock our time, on NBA TV. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with that. And also, when the Thunder, on the Thunder app, if we're going to have to, if you're going to listen to that. But fortunately, hopefully we'll be able to listen to different announcers. I'm hoping. But we shall see. But anyway, tonight, 8 o'clock, Thunder in an opening round of who they're going to play. And so anyway, when you look at the Thunder's Summer League roster, here is the roster for the Thunder for this first game tonight. Of course, Jared Butler, he's on a two-way contract. Jang, Tanner Groves, Chet, Keontae, Hunter, Montanar, which I was looking at that and I was thinking, why? I was wondering if, how the Thunder exactly are going to do that. I mean, because when I looked at the roster and I saw that, I'm going, okay, how are we really going to really do that? I mean, how many are we going to play? Are we going to really see everybody? Are we going to partly see them? I mean, what are we really going to do here? So I'm really interested to see how that's actually going to work for the Thunder on who all they're going to play because, I mean, Hunter Maltonado, excuse me, I can't even say his name correctly. Hunter Maltonado, we'll see how he's going to step up. But when I saw it, I'm kind of going, okay, I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen, and I am tonight. We'll be there watching. But when I look at who all I think is going to play and who all is going to play, we shall see because we know that Jared Butler, we're going to see him. We know for sure Jang is going to play. We know Chet's going to play. How much is going to be determined. Keontae Johnson, of course, we know he's going to play quite a bit. We know that Trey Mann's got to play quite a bit. We know that Jalen and J-Dub are going to play some. I don't know how much they're going to play against Utah. But still, I'm kind of upset because we get to see Hendricks tonight, so that's going to be good. But when you look at this roster, we know that who all is going to play a lot. You know that Jalen Williams, J-Dub, and J-Will both will see some action. Chet is going to see some action. So, those three plus the two surprising names that I saw were Jeremiah Robinson Earl and Trey. Not so much Trey, but kind of Trey. And then, of course, Kaysen. When you look for Kaysen up there, I did not see Kaysen's name on there, which kind of blew me away there a little bit. Why Kaysen is not playing. I was kind of going, okay, do we know what we got in him? Is that why Kaysen is not playing? I thought that was interesting, the fact that Trey is playing and Kaysen is not playing. I mean, how many of you found the same thing kind of interesting when I saw that roster? I was kind of going, wow, okay, that's interesting to see that he's not playing. But anyway, Trey and Jeremiah Robinson are usually third-year players do not play. Now, for Jared, he doesn't really count because he's really a two-way player, so he's not really the same. But when you look at Jeremiah Robinson, this is his third year, he should not be playing. Trey Mann, he should not be playing. But with the addition of Kaysen and Trey playing and Kaysen not, I find that very interesting. And then we know that J Dub and J Will are going to play some. The question is, I would imagine J Dub and Chet won't probably play more than 2, 3 games tops, so they could get a look at rest of these other guys. J Will probably play a little bit more. That's kind of my guesstimation on what I see. And then the rest of the guys we're going to have to see. Keontae will probably play quite a bit as well. But I just want to see how well Chet does, because we haven't seen him since Summer League really last year, how well he's going to do and what actually is going to happen with him. How much Jang has actually grown since the last time we saw him. And, quite frankly with Jang, I like the kid, but he's strictly a project. Now, I do like what we did going out and getting the players that we did get. I was excited about that. And my also interesting to see is that, what our roster is going to be, because remember, we're going to talk about some signees that we have that are not playing. And so we're going to see about that. But right now, the way I look at it is Chet's probably going to start along with J-Dub, J-Will, Trey, and probably got to have another guard in there. And I don't know, Jang will probably come off the bench, I would think, unless you want to see what it looks like with Jang and Chet on there together with J. Will and J. Dub, which I don't really see how you can do that unless you play Jalen Williams at center, J. Will at center. You play Jang at forward, and you play Chet at the power forward, and then you have Trey Mann at your point guard and J. Dub as your 2. So I'm going to see how the starting lineup is tonight. I'm really, like I said, I'm really, really interested in to see what the Thunder are really going to do with this lineup and who they're going to use and who they're going to not. And but I know that those guys that I just mentioned aren't going to play a lot. I would assume that this is Trey's way of saying either we're keeping you or we're not. And I believe with the acquisitions and what they've done, and we'll talk about the trades here in a minute, I just don't see them really looking at Trey as somebody that they're actually going to keep. I just really don't. I just don't. I think, like I said last year, when Trey shot 24 times, well, actually in the Summer League, when my guy Mark Long and I were watching the Summer League, we were kind of going, what the hell is Trey doing? Why is he shooting so much? And that was a concern to both of us. And then he came out and shot more than SGA did in the game. And it's like, when you're a role player and you take more shots than your best player, that's a problem. And then after that, they just shut him down, and you could just see his confidence just go to crap. And he just never really recovered from that mentally, because I think in his mind, he felt like he should be able to be a scorer. We need a scorer, and that's what he can do. But it just did not materialize that way for him, and I think it ended up hurting Trey in the long run. And by drafting Kaysen and by the other moves that we made, which we'll talk about here in a minute, I think that made him expendable. And then remember, we still have Isaiah Joe, because when we talked about the Thunder roster, remember we talked about the roster and who all we have, and we don't even have everybody right now on this roster that the Thunder currently have. I haven't even added a couple of new guys, so I haven't even added everybody in the updated roster, which I will do that tomorrow on tomorrow's show, because once we give account of work tonight, remember after the storm, we will be talking about the Thunder after the game, and then tomorrow I will kind of give an update on what happened at the Thunder game. What happened at the game last night, which is tonight, but tomorrow I'm talking about. I will give us an update on what happened and what I think the Thunder need to do. So, but anyway, here's our schedule, or here's our roster for the Summer League. Like I said, Trey and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, Trey Mann and Jeremiah Robinson-Earl usually do not play third-year guys at all unless they're trying to get on the team. And like I said, rookie, is Chet Holmgren really a rookie? I mean, I guess he is. He did not play last year. So I guess technically he is a rookie, kind of like what Blake Griffin happened to him. So technically I guess he is a rookie, but this is really his second time around, or his second year. But like I said, Jared Butler, we understand completely why he's there. Jameis Ramsey, we understand completely why he's there. Zaire, we understand why he's there. And these are all the third-year guys. But usually third-year guys, second-year guys, third-year guys do not play in the summer league. So you can see right now the Thunder are really going to say, okay, we know who our top 8, 9, or 10 are clearly, or excuse me, we know who our top 8, and now with Kaysen doing that, are 9. So we know who our top 9 are. That's SGA, Josh, J Dub, J Will, Dort, uh, Chet, Isaiah Joe, and oh my God, my mind just went blank. Man, my mind went blank. I'll think about him in just a minute. And anyway, thinking about that, so you know who your top 8 or 9 are, along with Kaysen. So you know who your top 8 or 9 guys are. So when you look at that, you can see that right now, Trey and Robinson Earl are both fighting. And let's just go to the Thunder roster so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see when I pull up the roster here right now, you know that Aaron Wiggins, that's what I was thinking about. You know that SGA, Kaysen clearly has, since he's not playing, unless he's hurt or something, which we have not heard about, I have not seen. You had SGA, Kaysen, Josh, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe. Those are your guards, along with J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins, Keontae. Well, see, I'm not going to add Keontae. So that's 7, along with Chad is 8, and Jay Will is 9. And then after that, you know, man, Keontae's fighting for a spot, I believe, and along with Kendricks Williams, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Trey, they're all fighting for that. So that gives you 12 right there just between those 3. Davis is 13, and then, of course, Lindy Waters is 14, and then Kendrick Williams would be 15, Polka 16. So we'll see what all is going to be with what's going to happen with that. So I'm interested to see, because maybe you can keep 15, and you know that Lindy Waters is going to probably be playing down. I just don't see what you're doing unless Kaysen is really not what they think. But if he's not, why isn't he playing in summer league? And I really need to see if there was anything announced with that, because I have not heard about Kaysen and why he's not. Kaysen Wallace is not playing. I'm not sure why he's not playing, why the Thunder are holding him. Let me see, what did they say? I'm going to see if I can find some information real quick. Oh, because the trade hasn't been finalized yet. Duh, I forgot all about that. Yes, because I forgot that we traded for him. That's why he's not on the roster. Okay, that makes complete sense. Duh. But he said they'll miss the first 3 games, but he'll join the team in Vegas. And I think that's what's really going to happen, because when you go and you look at our summer league roster in Vegas, you're really going to have a good feel when it comes to Vegas, who's going to be on the team. Because the question is Jalen and J Dub going to be playing? I wouldn't play either one of those in the summer league. They're too important, and plus we kind of know what we're getting out of them. So I would not play Chet Chet, J Dub, or J Will in the summer league. I wouldn't play any of those 3. I already know what I'm getting. Maybe J Will, but probably not. But if anybody, I would play J Will, not J Dub, and Chet for sure are not playing. And then if Kaysen's going to come back, that's going to give them an opportunity to play in that. So that makes complete sense. Sorry about that. I should have been on top of that. And remember, our summer league schedule is this. We play tonight, 8 o'clock. We play Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. And these are all Eastern Standard Times here, 9, 7, 7. So we play at 8 o'clock tonight, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and then 6 o'clock on Thursday. And then July 8th, which is Saturday night, we will be playing the Mavericks at 2:30 on ESPN. And interesting to see how that works like that, isn't it? Boom, ESPN. And so interested to see. I'm excited about the Thunder. I'm excited about it. If you can tell, I'm really looking forward to watching what happens. But that being said, here's our schedule. Remember, tonight at 8 o'clock, everybody be watching on NBA TV. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock on NBA TV. And then, of course, Thursday night against the Sixers on ESPN2. So, man, I tell you what, now, the crazy thing is here are the trades and the signings, which I know a lot of you have really been trying to look forward to or trying to get information on and trying to see. So what I did is I broke it into three because, trying to make it big enough to where everybody can read it and not have to squint, i.e. me. But this is what the Thunder took. They took Vasily Mikchik. I have to figure out. Sorry, I'm messing up his name, but I'll get it figured out just like I did with Jang and everybody else once they play enough. And I'll figure it out and I'll get that done. I will not mess up his name like that. I'll get that figured out. Patty Mills, which of course that's a salary dump, so I'm not really thinking about that so much. Jack White, we traded for Victor Oladipo, and then of course then we've got the draft compensations. They're not 7 draft compensation, but draft compensation. That's a mess up there. And Oladipo, he tore his knee up. And remember, Victor did play for us once before. So I believe that Patty and Victor are salary dump things for us, or either hold them out because, we may be able to trade for them later. Somebody needing a shooter, somebody needs somebody. We may be able to trade them. It's kind of like when we had Al Horford. We had him, but, he saw the floor very minimally. Why? Because we didn't want to take a chance on him getting hurt. And then also, you want to give him a little action so people wouldn't know. Well, he had said he hadn't played, so you want to give him a little action. But for the most part, they are trade bait and definitely salary dumps. But Vasily Mikchik is the MVP of the EuroLeague, so I'm interested to see what he's going to do. But for me, like all European players, I'm kind of like skeptical on and going, okay, we shall see what you can really do. We'll really see what you can and cannot do once the season starts. The Suns, you can see all the moves that they made. You got Yuta Watanabe. You got him. You got Keita Bates Diop. I wonder if that's Boris Diop's son. I bet you it is Boris Diop's son. Then you got Drew Eubanks and Chimezie Metu, Eric Gordon, Damian Lee, and Josh Okogie, which they re-signed. So it's going to be interesting to see. You can see that they are putting pieces around the big three that they have there. So, because they had to have what? You got to have some defense. You got to have some guys who can make some shots because no matter what, eventually in the playoffs, when you see somebody 4, 5, 6 times, they're going to have you figured out. You're going to have them figured out. So it's going to be really, really important that you have somebody else who can make shots besides the 3 monsters that they have there in Phoenix. But they're building a nice little group around them. When you look at the Mavs, of course, they re-signed Kyrie to a 3-year deal, 3rd year being the player option. They're lucky they got that, but at the same time, not really, because Kyrie saw the writing on the wall that nobody really wants him. And I have talked about this many, many times before. As a player, when you are supremely talented and you act like excuse my language, you act like an ass, eventually they're not going to need you. When your talent diminishes just a little bit, where they don't need you anymore, you're gone. And I've said this many, many times. And, Cam Newton is a prime example of that. His arrogance and the way he acted and the way he still does, this defiance and the way he is, has caused teams to back up off of him. Sorry, I had to take a little ibuprofen. Because there's no way that there are 64 backup quarterbacks better than Cam Newton in the NFL. There's no way. And I agree with him when he's talking about some of that 32. I don't know about that because Cam hasn't been good in a very, very long time. And he really hasn't been good since the Denver Broncos, my boy Jose Fierro's Denver Broncos laid that helmet on him after the Super Bowl. And he just has not been the same guy. But, all the antics and the stuff he was doing and, thinking he's forward fashion and all that. You can't represent an NFL team wearing a scarf. And that's part of his arrogance and a part of who he feels like he can be. And the whole thing is this. You have to understand you can be fashionable, but at the same time, you are on screen, you are on TV, and you are representing that city, that team, the owners, all of that. and the fan base. And when you go up there wearing the stuff that he was wearing and, talking the way he was talking, they were only waiting for a time that they didn't need him. As soon as they didn't need him, there was no buyers. Boom, you're gone. You're gone. And Cam Newton still had plenty in the tank. I believe Cam Newton could have still played. But because of his arrogance and because of the way he was, he's losing out on millions of dollars because there's guys carrying clipboards, and we talked about this yesterday at length. How many guys are on the bench? I mean, you look at Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was making $48 million last year. He's making $3 million this year. And that's all he's ever going to make is around that because why? They're done with him. You can act a fool. You can do all the stuff. You can act behind the scenes, stuff that a lot of you have no idea about. When that stuff comes, these teams do. And when they get a chance to put it on you, they put it on you. Everybody knew you can't. Everybody raise your hand if you really thought Russell Westbrook was worth $48 million. He was not. You can be a bigger fan of him as you want, but I mean, you're an idiot if you think he was worth $48 million last year. Come on now, no way. But anyway, same thing with Kyrie with the Mavs. 3 years, 100-something million. I forget let me see, what was it that Kyrie got in his contract? Because when I was looking at it, I was like, I know it's 3 years. Oh, man, what was it? I forget, what is it? 3 years. I mean, where is that thing in here? Oh, a 3 year, $126 million. Okay, and that's not, Damian Lillard's getting 60. Starting in 25, 26, he's getting 60. He ain't even close to that. And he ain't worth it. Why? Because of the things that he says. The whole thing is, it's just like Ja. The other day we're at the gym. Was this yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday morning. We're at the gym, and this kid, he's a really good, I've seen him play. He's a good shooter, good kid. I mean, not a good kid, but a really good player. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a good kid. Not a good kid because I don't really know him. But really good player. But he's got attitude issues. And so he makes a shot and then acts like he's shooting somebody. And Marcus Lee, the referee, looked at him and was like, boom, teed him up immediately. Like, what the hell are you doing, son? Went over and talked to his coach. Coach was like, what's going on? He goes, he cannot point a gun at somebody because he makes a shot. But that's what we were talking about him and about that. So I'm talking about John Morant. Kids, oh, he does it, why can't I do it? That's what we were talking about. It has nothing to do with his right to carry a firearm. Seth Curry was a good sign. Deontay Exum and Dwight Powell, because they re-signed to White. Heat, Josh Richardson, of course, from Edmond Santa Fe, I believe is where Josh went. Signing up with the Heat. Kevin Love re-signing him. Thomas Bryant, and they traded Victor to the Thunder, of course, and we know kind of what that is. And Victor, I like him. I liked him as a player, but when he left us, because of him and Russell weren't getting along, when he left us and went to Indiana, and then he got hurt, he's just not been the same player, and he's on his way out. Justin Champagne, Trey Jones, Sandro. I'm not even going to attempt to sign that. I say that name for the Spurs, but the Spurs, they love European players, but of course they've got the European guru over there as their coach, Popovich, and so he can do all of that and get as much out of those guys as they can, unlike the Thunder. The Bulls, they re-signed Vukovic, which was a great signing by them, Kobe White, and then Javon Carter. The Nets, Cam Johnson, Dennis Smith Jr., and of course they traded Joe Harris for a salary dump so they could kind of get underneath that, so they needed to do that. The Rockets, man, I tell you what, they're slowly, man, I tell people, you need to watch out for the Rockets. They're building quietly they're building something over there. They've got a couple of good players. They added Fred VanVleet, who, not that people, I'm very high on Fred. I've liked Fred the whole time now and what he could do. So I think he's going to give them stability at point guard and allow the rest of the guys to open up. Plus, he gives them some leadership and some veteran experience to get those guys where they needed to be. And then we'll see what Dylan Brooks' attitude is, but they needed somebody on defense. They needed somebody to be able to teach those guys to be a little bit more physical because they were a little soft and a little athletic because they're so young. So nice pickup by the Rockets. The Raptors, of course, grabbing Dennis Schroeder. Once they lost Fred Van Fleet, they really didn't have a chance to do anything. And then, of course, Jacob Pertl, nice little pickup again for them. And then Jalen McDaniels. The Knicks, uh, Josh Hart opts in, which of course he will. Who else is going to pay him $12.5 million? And then Deontay DiVincenzo. I think that was a great pickup because what did the Knicks have an issue with? They only had one guy that could score last year. Now they've got another guy who can come off the bench and give them some points. So I think that's going to really help the Knicks take themselves to another level. I think that's going to hurt Golden State even more by getting rid of Jordan Poole, but by keeping Draymond. I mean, I'm sorry. I know these people are high on him. I'm like, dude, his skill set is diminished. He means a lot to them. But for you to dismantle your team, I just don't see it. But they did add some Corey Joseph, which we'll talk about that. Then, of course, the Pacers, Bruce Brown, which they stole from the world champion Nuggets, which they needed some help. Tyrese Halliburton and Obi Toppin. So nice pickups by them, but still give them about a B on their rating and what they added as a squad. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and then give the last two parts of our NBA trades and signings. And with that, we want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. If you have any needs for any computers, software to be written to make your office run smoother, they are perfect for that. Also, they can do website designs and network design and all that. But like I said, the thing I love about them is they can remote in and get you all squared away. So I really love the fact that they can do that. SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, hook up, call her at my boy Mark Long over there. They love to be behind the scenes to design your complex, your building, or whatever you're trying to do to make it look fantastic. Oak Grove Trucking and my guy Jose Fierro. Once again, thank you, my brother, for my shirt. Appreciate you on USA jersey. Appreciate Jose. If you got any needs for any rocks or dirt to be moved, he can do his dump trucks, and he has access to a few more now. So if you need to hire him as a trucking company, he's got 4 or 5 more trucks and guys under him that can work with him. So he's perfect for that. Nafco, I want to thank Greg and Max Nafy for sponsoring me and taking care of me as they always have. And they can thank, they've got about 4 kids that thank them that now have college scholarships because of their sponsorships. Then YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, member of the FDIC, and of course they're our sponsor for us to go out and support minority women and black-owned businesses in the OKC area. And so we appreciate them doing that. And then you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or, they are a personal bank, so, hey, they'd love to come in and meet you. Go in and see them at the main bank. They're at 401 Elm in downtown Yukon, or YNB East, which is on the Yukon Parkway and 66th. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is on Garth Brooks Boulevard there in the great city of Yukon. YNB Peoples, which is on 6201 Northwest 63rd, which of course is right there between 23rd Street between MacArthur and Rockwell. So any of those are fantastic places to go in any location. They're all over the Oklahoma City area and Yukon, so you can get there anyway. And if you're on I-40 and just traveling, hey, they're right there off Garth Brooks Boulevard. They're in Yukon, so you can't miss it. Just south of the highway, right there in front of the Integris Hospital there. So now, in the rest of the trades here, you look at what the T-Wolves have done. Okay, the T-Wolves, I like what the T-Wolves have done with their roster or what they've added, because the T-Wolves, man, Anthony, re-signing him is a huge thing. They had to do that. They really didn't have a choice. You had no choice but to add or to re-sign Anthony. If you do that, you are, I don't mean this bad, but you're not very smart if you don't do that. You had to add him, and then Shake Milton, Nikhil Alexander Walker, and Troy Brown. I like all that. And then, Drew, of course, Drew Henthorn's favorite team, the Lakers, and what they had to do. They had no choice. Well, they did have a choice. I mean, you always have a choice. But they re signed Ruri, which we both talked about, that they needed to do that. Because that's somebody they had to bring back. Because if you don't, I think that his value to that team and what they had to offer, or what he had to offer was a lot. And so anyway, he did. I think the Lakers did fantastic in re-signing him. And when I look at the rest of it, then you've got um, Cam Reddish, which we shall see. I mean, he was at the Knicks, got traded to Portland, so we'll see what that really does. I mean, he's been a real disappointment, and so we'll just say Tyron Prince. I like that, and then of course Gabe Vincent, and Jackson Hayes, but Gabe Vincent, he did so much for himself. But the question is, what is he really going to be able to do? Okay, that is the $1 million question. What is he really going to be able to do uh, now that he's no longer in Miami and he is there in LA? Because he did himself fantastic by making the moves and playing the well he played. Got himself a nice little decent contract, so you can't really argue about what he's done. He's done great when it comes to that, but at the same time, we shall see uh, what's going to transpire because when I look at the Lakers, and of course the re-signing with Drew's guy, he's not really his guy. I'm just messing with Drew. But Austin Reeves, I think that's something they had to do. And somebody had said that the Lakers are going to pay him 120 million. I'm like, have you lost your damn mind? He is not worth no 120 million. And there's no way you can like him all you want to, but you're an idiot if you think that he is worth that much money. Now, I think that's like I said, the contract that he got, that's about right for what he provides to the Lakers and what he can do. I think it's perfect signing the contract that they signed for him because, he worked his butt off. He came back, he did everything that they asked him to do. So I have zero complaints with them signing Austin with the contract that he got because I believe that is right at about what uh, about what he deserved for a contract. So that being said, nice job by the Lakers, and for us filling some holes. Got you a couple guards. You got somebody who can play defense and score, and so we'll see how this group blends in the future. The Pelicans, Herb Jones and Cody Zeller, and we shall see how that works out. So much. I'm I'm gonna give them probably a C in what they did. The Cavs and George Gentnang, Chris Levert, and Max Strus. Once again, Miami getting picked up. You got two undrafted guys, Gabe Vincent and Max Strus, both of them undrafted free agents, along with Austin, and these guys get a chance to play. They grow from year one to year two, and now look at them maximizing themselves and what they can do as far as in the other teams. But this is my issue. What is the coach and the team and the concepts of what they're doing going to fit their style of play? Because a lot of times people will leave a certain deal where they're successful, then all of a sudden they're not successful. Why? Because it was the system and their style of play fit that system. And I tell any kid all day long, if you wherever you go to school at, from high school to college, make sure that the style of play fits the system, the style of play that you have, and maximizes your ability. That's what you have to be able to do. The Pistons, Joe Harris and Monte Morris. I'm still up in the air about this. We'll see how the Monte Morris trade is going to happen from the Wizards. They traded him, so we'll see what that really does for them. Golden State Warriors signing Draymond Green. As I said, I'm not big of a fan, but they did lose DiVincenzo and add Corey Joseph. And so I think Corey's going to be a nice pickup because he's athletic and he can score, but he's still young and still trying to figure it out. And getting with a team like that and coming from where he was at, I think that's going to give him a real chance to really see if he can maximize his potential there in Golden State. The Magic with Joe Ingles, they haven't done anything yet. I mean, it's the Magic. I mean, I think they just gone and move and go ahead and go to Seattle. I mean, that's what I think should happen, or Vegas or whatever. I mean, anyway, let me move on. Wizards, Kyle Kuzma re-signed him. They got Jordan Poole. They got Ryan Rollins. They got Shamit. They got Tyrus Jones. They got Gallinari and Muscala. Both of those, whatever. And then traded again, of course, for traded Monte Morris. So when I look at that, re-signed Kuzma, what you had to do. Then you traded for Jordan Poole, and then you got Landry Shamet, and you got Rollins, and you got Tyus Jones. So you've got a really, really nice mixture of guys. And it's so funny is Gallinari and Muscala both played for the Thunder. And remember who the GM of the Wizards is. So I think that's interesting that he liked them so much and he brought them back. And they're nice little role players that can get you a few minutes here and there, but they're good locker room guys. And that was the point that I was making earlier, is that if you're a good locker room guy, that goes so far as keeping you on a team in the future. Nuggets re-signing Reggie Jackson. Good move by them. Reggie got a ring. So happy for him. I'm sorry that he's not a Thunder player anymore, but of course, we traded him because he and Russell. But anyway, so the Nuggets did a good job for that, but they still have got more to do. I mean, you've got to be able, they've got a nice nucleus, but you still got to have that 7, 8, 9, 10 guy on the bench to be able to do some things. The Grizzlies, Marcus Smart, I like that. Desmond Bain, I like the re-signing of that. Derrick Rose, Derek's a shadow of a player that he used to be, but I remember seeing him out of high school, and man, him and Eric Gordon were on the same team there for the what was I can't think of. I need to ask Gary what the name of that Chicago team was that Eric Gordon and Derrick Rose played for. But needless to say, they did win the Peach Jam, which is Nike's ultimate tournament. They did win that. But watching him play, oh my goodness. Ooh, boy, he was tremendous, and there's a reason why he won the MVP. Blazers, of course, re-signing Jeremy Grant to a big deal, and I think that was more to appease Damian Lillard more than anything. Jeremy is still a good player, but I think that was more to appease him. But still, he's looking to be traded. He wants to be out of there, either to the Nets or to the Heat. And just the Heat, they don't have Gabe Vincent anymore. They don't have Strus anymore. So they really don't, they're losing everything they possibly could have to trade for. So, they're not giving up Jimmy Butler and they're not giving up Bam Adebayo. So I don't know what the hell they're going to really do now. I think it's going to be tougher for them. Sixers, James Harden, of course, opted in. Of course he did. Now the question is, where is he going to be traded? But he, like Kyrie, have found out that you come in out of shape, and when you're the star and you're not blending in and you're not doing all, and you're not leading and you're not doing the things, when they can get rid of you, they get tired. They will take a chance. They will get rid of you, and they get somebody less. They're not going to pay a lot of money to that can do what the hell you do. So once again, guys, this is a lesson to you all about business and about your future as a sports athlete and what you can and cannot do. Bucks re-signing Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez and Jay Crowder. Okay, you status quo, you still old as hell. I'm going to give you a C. Celtics, Porzingis, and O'Shea Brissett, I'm going to give you a C. Clippers, KJ Martin in the trade, and then, of course, re-signing Russell we just talked about, went from 48 to 3. Man, that's a huge drop, isn't it? $45 million, $44 million he dropped from one year to the next. Whew. Boy, man, that's got to hurt him, and I'm not, most of y'all know I'm not a fan of him, but anyway, it is what it is with that. Kings, Domantas Sabonis, Alex Lynn, Sasha, I don't know why they come up with these names, and then Trey Lyles. The Kings got a little bit better. Of course, they had to sign Sabonis, once again, another Thunder player who used to be in Oklahoma City, who's now dominating somewhere else. And, man, you just think about the players. You can't cry over spilled milk, but when you think about the players that Oklahoma City Thunder had and had the opportunity, and then, of course, what they did for that is just kind of It's frustrating. In fact, we may go do a show on all the former Thunder players and where they're at and what they're doing currently. It's man, they're out performing somewhere else when they could have been here. But a lot of it had to do with that guy who just dropped $44 million from one year to the next. Talking about how far the mighty fallen, mighty in his mind, not mine. Jordan Clarkson and John Collins for the Jazz. Like I said, I'm really interested tonight to see what's going to happen in that game because, I believe they did drafted Taylor Hendricks. And then you turn around and sign John Collins. Well, you already have Walker Kessler and you already have a Marketing. I, I, I mean, I guess, Kessler could get hurt, Marketing get hurt. You got these two guys that can replace them, so you have four of the same type of player. John Collins is an extra score, 18 and 10. And Taylor Hendricks long, athletic, and young, which goes into kind of what they're doing. But you can see they mix in a veteran like John Collins, which is what I think the Thunder may or may not do here sometime later because of the simple fact that right now, the way it stands is that you have that we're going to be set pat. And then, like I said, by Christmas, you're going to know what kind of team you have. You're going to know what kind of player Chet is. You're going to know whether he has the possibility, because 1 year is not going to make that big of a difference. But you will be able to see what Chet is or isn't going to be with the Thunder. You'll see, because you can see with Josh, started out slow, but then as the year came on, you could just see his rapid progression. And then year two, you saw where he just went boom. And Josh, remember, finished in the top 6 in voting for Rookie of the Year. And then last year was he just at the end of the year, you could just see him blossoming and blossoming and blossoming. So I really look for Josh to take off again in his third year. So this is Chet's second year, but really his first. So we shall see. Really, like I said, by Christmas, you're going to know what he is or he isn't. If he's going to be this or he's going to be this. And if he is this, then the question is, do you hang on like you did Darius Baisley, like you're doing with Poku? And like Poku did make strides this past year at the beginning of the year until he got hurt. He was playing really good, I thought. And then once he came back, he wasn't the same player. Robinson Earl, once he got hurt, he wasn't the same player. So when you look at that, and you look at what the Thunder are doing, especially when you look at their roster, you know that they're planning on keeping Poku for to keep him. So that probably is your 10th guy. Because remember, we talked about that. You had you have Escher. Let me go to the roster. So I'm sitting there talking about it. So you guys can see kind of what I mean when I talk about the Thunder roster and who's on it, so you can kind of so I'm not just talking out of my head. That way you guys can kind of get a good feel for what I'm talking about here. Thunder roster, you know that you got SGA, Josh, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe. So you know those four right there are for sure. And then you got J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins, that's 7. And then you've got Chet is 8 and Jay Will is 9. And then probably, that's your 9. You know that's your 9 right there. And then okay, boom. What about Poku's 10? What about Kendrick's Wisdom 11? What about Kayson's 12? What about Jeremiah Robinson Earl is 13. Davis Bertans is 14. You're paying him a lot of money. And then you've got Trey Mann, Lindy Waters 15, 16. Keontae 17. So, you got a lot of guys on there. Who are you going to break it down to? Now, to me, it's really simple. SGA, Josh, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, Kayson. And Kayson could move up there. Keontae is who I think he is. I think he can possibly take the place of Kendrick Williams, and then he could be the side guy to Aaron Wiggins as far as wings. Jang, I think, is still out there. Forgot about him. So we're going to see. I mean, this Thunder roster is deep and it's long, but like I said, we will know by Christmas what you do have and don't have as far as rosters are concerned with this. Now, in USFL, the championship game was played Saturday. Yeah, it was a Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday. The USFL was played, and they do have what was shocking. The Birmingham Stallions have now won back-to-back USFL championships. Congratulations to the Birmingham Stallions beating the Pittsburgh Maulers, mauling the Maulers 28-12. Stallions, of course, are back-to-back champions in the USFL. Congratulations to Birmingham winning their back-to-back championships on that. And then, of course, the World Cup is coming up this summer, which I'm really excited about. And I love the Women's World Cup and our women's team. We play Vietnam. Man, that's what, in 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks from now? Friday, or I guess it's, 2 weeks from Friday is the 21st. So, July 21st, 8 o'clock p.m. on FS1. We'll be watching. They're going to probably smash Vietnam. Now, the Netherlands is going to be something I'm really, really going to, I probably will not watch all the Friday night, but I will watch the Wednesday for sure against the Netherlands. I'm definitely going to watch that and be tuning in somewhere to watch that. Portugal and the USA, that should be a good one as well. But I'll be watching all those to see what's really going to happen in that. Plus, I love our women's soccer team, watching them play. And I'm just glad everybody's coming to more of a tending to be more soccer fans, so I'm excited about that. Then, of course, coming up is our Women Tisdale golf tournament, which is Monday the 17th, so it's the weekend of 15th and 16th. Oh, I misspelled Monday. I need to go back and do that. Monday. July 17th is that Monday, 2023. You can go to the www.WaymanTisdaleFoundation.org to look up and possibly add some teams to it. We will be playing at the Hard Rock Casino, the golf course there at Cherokee Hills. Man, that's this hole number 6 right here in the background. That hole is, you got to hit it short of the water there, short of the creek, and then that slope is brutal. Last year they had it up. The tee was up. The flag was up right behind those rocks, right there in the middle, right above the sand traps. The flag was sitting right there. So if you hit it and you miss it, unfortunately, my second shot, we used my second shot, and I was to the right of those rocks, and so we basically had the putt on, but it was a downhill right to left, and we ended up parring that hole because it was just, it's brutal. It's a brutal hole because none of us could make that chip. And, anyway, great hole. Really like this course a lot. And if you never had a chance to play it, you should. And then, staying at the Hard Rock Casino is always a plus. That's never a minus. But anyway, it goes to support the Wayman Tisdale Foundation, and what a great man he was. But like I said, you can go to www.WaymanTisdaleFoundation.com and get more information about that as far as being a participant in the tournament. Then, of course, our guy Drew Henthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com has been on fire. He's on vacation with the wife and some friends and the family. So Drew sent me the picks in finally. He's got the Giants money line minus 137. Of course, he's got his beloved Braves in there at 184. And he's got the Marlins, and who did I have? Oh, he has the Cubs should not be on there. Sorry, guys, the Cubs should not be on there. He's got the Marlins minus 143, Reds minus 114, and then the Angels, Padres, he's taking the under 8 on the money line plus 100. So that's the Giants minus 137 money line, the Braves money line minus 184, the Marlins money line minus 143, the Reds minus 114. The Cubs are not on there. I'm sorry about that, but he sent it to me while I was on air, so I was trying to type and talk at the same time. I can normally do more than one thing at a time, but that was a little difficult and maybe a little too much, a little too challenging for me, clearly. So that being said, hey, everybody enjoy your 4th. Be safe out there at the lake. If you're at the lake, be safe because, it's an amateur hour this weekend, which is why I do not go to the lake on 4th of July weekends because it's an amateur hour. I just do not do it. I don't believe in it. I don't go on I don't go on Memorial Day, Labor Day, or this day. I go to other times, but since I lived in Puerto Rico and was on the ocean in the Caribbean, I just going to lakes just don't really do it for me. Now the lakes up in Michigan are fantastic because they're clear and it's beautiful water. And if I was to get one, I would love to have a cabin up there in one of those lakes up in there because the water's beautiful. And now that I would like to do, but the problem is I don't live there. And but that's why Chicago is one of my favorite cities because one of the lakes that I used to go or that I would go to is about a 2 hour ride right there from Chicago. So that being said, everybody, I hope remember the Thunder tonight, 8 o'clock on NBA TV, and I'm sure if you have the Thunder app, you'll be able to watch it on that as well. So tune in, check our Thunder out. Remember, Kaysen is not playing tonight, and he's not playing because the trade hasn't necessarily been finalized, but he will be playing in the Summer League starting the 7th, which is next, or is it the 8th? I believe this is the 8th, or Sunday. Saturday the 8th is when he's going to be playing. So he will miss today, Wednesday, and Thursday, but he will be playing on Saturday. So that being said, hope everybody has a good day. And remember tonight, tune in to After the Storm, your OKC post-game Thunder, because I will be doing the show for that tonight, watching for the Thunder game. That being said, hey, excuse me, everybody stay cool if you can.